everybody, I'm Stella Chung and this is the Weekly Fix, the show where we round up all the gaming and entertainment headlines you may have missed this week. A developer for Sonic Origins has made his frustrations known about the current state of the game, plus we break down all the PlayStation Plus games announced for July. In the entertainment world, an explicit scene was cut from a recent episode of The Boys, and Pratt continues to tease his Mario movie voice. Happy long weekend, and let's jump right into it.
Sony announced the free PlayStation Plus games for July, and it includes something for everyone. The lovable marsupials Crash and Coco come to the membership service in Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. Help fix the space-time rifts Yuka Yuka creates while trying to escape from prison and mend the multiverse as you make your way through the time-bending 3D platformer as Crash, Coco, Tawna, Dingodile, and Dr. Neo Cortex. Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time will be available to PC Plus members on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. From the creators of Until Dawn, dive into the interactive cinematic horror game Man of Medan, where every playable character's life is in your hands. Make choices to decide their fate alone or team up with friends online or offline in this terrifying holiday diving trip gone wrong. The Dark Pictures anthology Man of Medan will be available to PS Plus members only on PlayStation 4. The Osmosis Jones-looking co-op multiplayer shooter Arcadegeddon mixes PvE and PvP gameplay with players joining up to 3 friends online. Journey through different biomes, battle through fast-paced combat, and save your arcade business from the mega corporation Fun Co. Not really fun if you think about it. Arcadegeddon will be available to PS Plus members on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. July's PlayStation Plus games will hit the membership server starting July 5th. You have until July 4th to snag God of War, Naruto to Boruto, Shinobi Striker, and Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl before they leave the service for good. What better way to celebrate the 4th of July than battling family and friends in All-Star Brawl? I can't think of a better game. Moving on, we got a release date and official release trailer for Square Enix and Tri-Ace's next action RPG, Star Ocean: The Divine Force. Players will choose between 2 protagonists, one in search of their crew or the other striving to save their homeland from a terrible threat. Jump, glide, and explore the open world of Ascendros as you recruit a diverse cast of characters that will join the heroes on the distant planet of Aster 4. Experience an improved battle system with seamless fluid combat and the ability to quickly switch between parties of 4. Chain combos, assign different battle skins, and increase max AP to execute devastating successions of skills. Star Ocean: The Divine Force launches globally October 27th for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S.
Sonic fans aren't the only ones disappointed by Sonic Origins, as its developer has publicly vented his frustration on how Sega took what his team produced and turned it into something entirely new. Simon Tomley, who is the founder of Headcanon, the co-development studio for Sonic Origins, took to Twitter to express his disappointment in the release, alleging that Sega introduced wild bugs into the game. Tomley says, quote, "This is frustrating. I won't lie and say that there weren't issues in what we gave to Sega, but what is in Origins is also not what we turned in. Integration introduced some wild bugs that conventional logic would have one believe were our responsibility. A lot of them aren't." Now Tomley alleges that he and his team worked on, quote, "a separate project that was then wrangled into something entirely different." Headcanon previously worked on the popular Sonic Mania in 2017 and assisted with Sonic Origins, remastering Sonic 3 and Knuckles for the collection. Since Sonic Origins launch, the game has been riddled with numerous bugs, including Sonic getting stuck on a hill and Tails getting stuck off screen. Tomley hopes that the problems will be addressed by Sega and has, for the record, provided Sega with a ton of feedback during and after development for both Origins and its Sonic 3 integration. Hopefully Sega heeds Tomley's words and updates the game, as ruining classic titles in a remaster is just bad behavior, especially if they're old school Sega games. Like, come on, Sega, you're fumbling here, man. Don't do that to Sonic. Moving on, From Software is recruiting for several new projects, and Elden Ring's game director is hinting that the developer's next IP is in the final stages. Today, From Software posted a variety of new roles on their recruitment website for several new projects the developer is working on. Although the website is predominantly in Japanese, its English message says From Software is looking for development staff to play a central role in several new projects. Let's work together to create rewarding experiences for players around the world to enjoy. The huge recruitment effort lists 22 jobs spanning art design and corporate sales, which suggests the company is looking to expand. Potential projects at work could be Elden Ring DLC, as players have discovered area in the game that could one day become PvP focused. Other projects could likely be in Elden Ring, Bloodborne, or Sekiro sequel. According to a new interview with 4Gamer, Elden Ring game director Hidetaka Miyazaki stated the company was already in the final stages of their next game. The next game could very well be a new Armored Core game that Miyazaki confirmed with us, IGN, way back in 2017 as one of 3 games FromSoft was developing at the time. Details of the new Armored Core leaked back in January with gameplay and images posted on Reset Era forums. From Software's last Armored Core game was back in 2013 with Armored Core Verdict Day, released for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Regardless, we hopefully won't have to wait too long to find out what new game will roll out. And finally, you get a sale, you get a sale, and you get a sale. Sales are happening all across Nintendo, Steam, and PlayStation, so let's dive in at what deals are a steal. Nintendo users will see about a 30% discount on the most popular titles on the platform like Super Mario Maker 2, Super Mario Odyssey, and The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Some of my favorite titles like Paper Mario, The Origami King, and Persona 5 Strikers are also on there, with Persona 5 Strikers discounted at 50% off. Wow, that's actually really good.
Overwatch 1 fans who aren't feeling Overwatch 2, I have some bad news. Overwatch 2 has been confirmed to fully replace the original Overwatch game at launch. In a Reddit AMA, Overwatch 2 director Aaron Keller confirmed the upcoming Overwatch sequel will replace the original live service when it launches in October. And yes, calling it a sequel seems a tad off, considering it's a complete rebrand remake of the original. Former game director Jeff Kaplan announced last year at BlizzCon Overwatch players would get to experience a shared multiplayer environment with PvP possible across the 2 titles. Now it looks as though Overwatch will in fact be overwritten entirely. Overwatch 2 will be free to play and shakes things up by adding new map systems and, most controversially, a 5v5 model. Players who still have unopened loot boxes will have them automatically open and existing currencies transferred to Overwatch 2 accounts directly. Skins will also transfer into Overwatch 2 from all platforms with cross-progression. MMR SR for competitive play will not receive a reset going into Overwatch 2, but accounts that haven't played in some time will take part in a new decay system that lowers MMR. Players with special player borders won't get to carry those over, but Blizzard is working on a way for players to display their portrait level in Overwatch 2. This news might not come as a surprise to hardcore Overwatch fans who've been paying close attention, but the messaging has definitely been a bit muddled. Blizzard mentioned Overwatch 2 would be a completely different game, which sort of makes it sound like the 2 versions would coexist, but that's clearly not the case. Not all fans want a completely different game, so it'll be interesting to see if Blizzard adds some kind of legacy mode to appeal to that crowd. Either way, expect to hear more about Overwatch 2 as we get closer to the early access launch, which kicks off October 4th. I'm curious if fans are upset or just kind of over it, but yeah, let me know in the comments. Moving on, Bungie is on the warpath to sue a YouTuber over a series of illegitimate DMCA takedowns he issued last March. YouTuber Nicholas Miner, who goes by Lord Nazo, received a DMCA takedown notice from Bungie for posting the entire soundtrack for Destiny 2: The Taken King on his YouTube channel. He refused to comply and eventually had his account deleted. After that, he apparently decided to pay it forward by issuing a reported 96 takedown notices to other YouTubers, all the while pretending to be a Bungie employee. Miner reportedly identified himself as, quote, Bungie's brand protection vendor, while threatening innocent YouTube creators with copyright strikes if they didn't delete their Destiny 2 videos. On top of that, Miner was heavily involved in community discussions surrounding DMC takedowns and used his fake job title to spread misinformation, which allegedly caused Bungie significant reputational and economic damage. How significant, you ask? How about $7.6 million? Bungie's lawsuit is citing $150,000 in damages for each of the fraudulent DMCA takedown notices. What really boggles my mind is DMC citations don't make any money. Issuing DMC takedowns on innocent YouTubers is an obnoxious thing to do, but it's also kind of obnoxious to sue someone for almost $8 million because they were being a troll. Nonetheless, Bungie is probably looking to make an example of Miner in hopes others do not repeat his mistakes. And finally, for a second, it seemed like we had confirmation of the long-running rumor that Michael Jackson worked on the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 soundtrack, but turns out something got lost in translation. The recently released Sonic Origins featured an alternate version of the Sonic 3 soundtrack, much to the dismay of fans. And there's been some speculation if this had anything to do with the King of Pop's long-rumored involvement. Then today on Twitter, veteran Sega programmer and Sonic co-creator Yuji Naka tweeted out, "Oh my god, the music for Sonic 3 has changed, even though Sega official uses Michael Jackson's music." At which the internet lost its collective minds. But then he posted a retraction explaining that he was reacting to a video on the official Sega TikTok celebrating Sonic's 31st birthday that just happened to use Billie Jean as the background music. It's been long speculated the pop legend Michael Jackson worked on the original soundtrack due to how similar it was to songs like Smooth Criminal and Stranger in Moscow. And while that's still possible, it's also possible that the similarities caused some legal issues for Sega, prompting them to replace the classic Sonic 3 soundtrack with an alternate version discovered on a prototype build of the game from 1993. Either way, Yuji Naka's surprise at Sega using a Michael Jackson song seems to suggest there's something going on. Otherwise, why say anything at all? Unless, of course, he knew that fans would react that way because of this decades-old rumor, or maybe we're overthinking it. But anyways, the point is, it's Sonic's birthday, so happy birthday, Sonic! Today's Nintendo Direct Mini premiered a ton of trailers for upcoming Switch games from third-party developers like Square Enix, Capcom, Ubisoft, and Valve. The highlight of today's Nintendo Direct Mini will bring joy to Persona fans as Persona 5 Royal, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 3 Portable are finally coming to the Nintendo Switch. Atlus, the developer behind Persona, made the announcement shortly after the news that the JRPG would be coming to Xbox and PC. All three games will come in full HD and include both English and Japanese voice acting and will be sold separately, with Persona 5 Royal coming to the Switch October 21st and Persona 4 Golden and Persona 3 Portable coming sometime after that. Another highlight in the Direct Mini was the announcement of Square Enix's new game, Harvestella, that combines a fantasy RPG world with a lifestyle sim gameplay similar to Stardew Valley. Play a villager, collect materials, grow your farm, and prevent the season of death that will ultimately destroy your cozy life. Harvestella is scheduled to release on November 4th. We got another look at Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope that got an October 20th release, and Bomberman returns in Super Bomberman R2 releasing sometime next year. Ports of older games are coming to the Switch too, including Nier Automata The End of Yorha Edition, the Portal series, the popular Mega Man Battle Network series, and the action strategy spin-off Minecraft Legends. Those are just the highlights, but for the full breakdown, check out IGN's deep dive on Nintendo's Direct Mini. The legendary creator Hideo Kojima, best known for Death Stranding, Metal Gear Solid, and PT, publicly spilled the beans on a concept very similar to Amazon's The Boys before putting it on hold. And now, a key stakeholder in the TV show says he wants a tie-in video game. Kojima posted on Twitter he had been warming up the project for a long time, with Hannibal's Mads Mikkelsen picked for the lead. But then The Boys' first season started, and Kojima thought the TV show was too similar to his concept, and so he put it on hold. The Boys showrunner Eric Kripke responded to Kojima's tweet declaring he was a huge fan and wanted to collaborate on a video game adaptation of The Boys, saying, "Please come and make a The Boys game. We can team up and conquer." Sounds like a great idea. It's not very clear whether Kojima's concept was for a game, movie, or something else entirely. But one thing is for sure, the project is no longer in the works. Currently, Kojima is working on a cloud project for Xbox, which could be the same Kojima horror game called Overdose we recently heard rumors of. There was also an interview with Norman Reedus that made the rounds in May, where the actor stated that he and Kojima had just started working on the sequel to 2019's Death Stranding. Whatever will come from Kojima, only time will tell. Though I'm curious which of these projects you'd be interested in. Let me know in the comments.
It's time to take a quick break. When we come back, we discuss an omitted scene from the current season of The Boys and see what lies in the future of the James Bond series. See you in a bit. Welcome back. Chris Pratt recently stated that his voice for the upcoming Mario movie will be unlike anything you've ever heard. But before that, an explicit scene from the comic of The Boys was recently cut from the show. Let's check out some more details.
Now, the latest episode of The Boys contain a whole lot of sex, and I want to talk about it. Yeah, now slight spoilers ahead, so cover your ears and eyes if you aren't caught up yet. Okay, now based on the 6-issue comic book run of the same name, Herogasm sees Soldier Boy come face to face with Homelander in a butt-clenching fight that led to quite the enthralling climax, forever entwining the two in a furious feud. Now, double entendres aside, there's a few graphic scenes left out of the live-action series that were depicted in the pages of the comics. Now, the first being a sex scene between Homelander and Soldier Boy, wherein Homelander convinces Soldier Boy to sleep with him for a spot on the 7. Now, Homelander obviously had no intentions of honoring his word and was merely taking advantage of Soldier Boy's naivete. Some fans of the comic might have been wondering if this particular scene would pop up in the series, but if you've been watching the show, you'd notice a stark difference between the characters as they've been represented in the pages of the comics. Now, for one, Soldier Boy is nowhere near his comic book counterpart, and at this point in the series, he barely knows much about the 7 aside from what he's seen on promotional billboards around the city. And for a clear-cut reason as to why this particular scene was left out of the Prime Video series creator Eric Kripke said to Entertainment Weekly, quote, "I love that scene and it's hilarious, but for a dozen reasons, all of which will be revealed when you see the season, it ultimately just didn't track. We talked about it. It conflicted with a lot of the other things we were trying to build with Soldier Boy. So unfortunately, that one had to go." Now, it definitely would have been out of place seeing that scene in the series and would have changed the power dynamic between the two heroes. Now, speaking of Herogasm and out of place scenes, there's also a scene from the comic with Black Noir and Huey that wasn't depicted on the show, possibly due to it conflicting with the episode's narrative direction. Now, the scene in the comic involved Black Noir's thumb and Huey's bum, which was pretty shocking if you remember that panel. But that's pretty much what The Boys is all about. It's meant to shock the audience, and it does a very good job of doing so. Now, as for that particular scene I'm referring to, I mean, who's to say if we'll still see it or not in the series now that Black Noir's gone AWOL? Now, one thing's for certain, The Boys Season 3 is just getting revved up, baby. Now, comment down below and let me know what you think. Now, in other alternate universe superhero news, Doctor Strange 2 could have ended a bit differently. Now, screenwriter Michael Waldron revealed during the film's audio commentary that Doctor Strange originally suffered a much darker fate at the end of the movie. Now, he said, quote, "Strange gets trapped in that incursion universe, and then Sinister Strange turns around and the third eye opens." And apparently that twist would have been announced with a Vincent Price iconic laugh. You know, the laugh that he does as if it's like some weird ass Michael Jackson music video. Yeah, no joke, that was the darker ending. Glad it never happened, but honestly, who would have cared either way? And finally, Vecna versus 11 in the battle of the century in this new poster from Netflix. Now, we're getting 2 more episodes spanning 4 hours of mind-numbing horror in Volume 2 of Stranger Things' 4th season. Now, the key art sees 11 casting the cutest menacing face at Vecna, who looks like one of those skinless people from Hellraiser who survive on sucking blood out of bodies. Y'all know what I'm talking about. If you're a horror fan, you know what I'm talking about. Now, what won't suck, though, is Stranger Things 4 Part 2 when it drops July 1st. Now let's all gather around the Koopa Troopa and yell Mamma Mia, y'all, because Chris Pratt is making statements we hope he lives up to. In an interview with Variety, Pratt explains how closely he worked with the directors of the upcoming Super Mario Bros. Film to nail down a voice for the iconic Nintendo character, giving us a bit more insight on how he'll be portraying Mario in the film. Now, he said, quote, "It's an animated voiceover narrative. It's not a live action movie. I'm not gonna be wearing a plumber suit running all over. I'm providing a voice for an animated character, and it is updated and unlike anything you've heard in the Mario world before." Now, unlike anything you've heard in the Mario world before essentially just means he's doing a voice that sounds nothing like the familiar voice made iconic by Charles Martinet many years ago. Now, it'll likely be a similar situation to where Will Forte took on the role of Shaggy in the 2020 Scoob movie, where he veered so far away from Casey Kasem and Matthew Lillard's version of the teenage stoner. Now, given Chris Pratt has no Italian lineage, many were worried about his take on the Italian character coming off as a bit offensive. But the movie's producer has assured audiences that Pratt's take on the character won't offend the Italian community. Now, I personally don't think that's the frickin' point. It's more about representation. I mean, I'm almost certain there's a lot of actors in Hollywood with Italian lineage to choose from, but you know what? If you want to ride the Chris Pratt wave, that's fine. I mean, my man's Miyamoto did say this.
He's so cool. Mario will be talking a lot in the movie.
And that was apparently their #1 criteria. Who in Hollywood is so cool? Bam, Chris Pratt, done. Now we'll see what he sounds like when the trailer drops, and you can check out his performance come April 7th of next year. Now, in other news, George R.R. Martin revealed the title of the upcoming Jon Snow spinoff to Game of Thrones. Simply titled Snow, Martin revealed that it is indeed a working title and that Kit Harington approached him with the idea of a spin-off for his character. He even brought in his own team of writers and showrunners, which shows just how hungry he is to reprise the role that put him in Hollywood's limelight many years ago. Now, the Snow Show is still in script stages, so we won't be seeing the Game of Thrones spinoff anytime soon, but it'll be a cold day in Westeros when we do. I don't even know if that's true. I don't even know if that place is still around come season 8. I haven't seen Game of Thrones in so long. Anyways, comment below your thoughts on the Snow Show, and let's go. And finally, Harley Quinn is back at it again on HBO Max. Season 3 of Harley Quinn is officially arriving in July, according to a Warner Media press release. Now, no exact date just yet, but the fact that we're getting it soon is enough to keep fans of the DC animated show excited. Now, you can binge watch seasons 1 and 2 right now on HBO Max. All right, now if you're hoping to see the new 007 film, you'll have to wait till 2025. Now, first reported by Deadline, series producer Barbara Broccoli said in a speech that her and the James Bond team are working on where to go with the next film, and that there's currently nobody in the running for the titular role. Now, according to Broccoli, she's going back to the lab again to cook up something a little bit different from what we've seen in past Bonds. Now, she said, quote, "There isn't a script and we can't come up with one until we decide how we're going to approach the next film, because really it's a reinvention of Bond. We're reinventing who he is, and that takes time. I'd say that filming is at least 2 years away. So it seems the secret agent is getting rebuilt from the ground up." Now, after Daniel Craig's departure from the role, whose 5-film run has left us with some of the best Bond flicks ever, it'll be interesting and refreshing to see where the James Bond series goes from here. Now, Broccoli has previously confirmed that the new Bond, whomever that person may be, will remain a male character. As for other details, that remains to be seen. Now, with the film tentatively set for a projected 2025 release date, we'll likely see who that secret agent man might be sometime before then. Now, in other news, Disney Plus's Obi-Wan Kenobi series was originally pitched as a full-on movie trilogy. Now, in an interview with Direct, one of the series' writers, Stuart Beatty, revealed that he was actually responsible for writing a screenplay for the first of a planned 3-part movie focusing on the bearded Jedi. Now, he said, quote, "I wrote the film that they based the show on. I spent like a year and a half working on it. When the decision was made not to make any more spin-off films after Solo came out, I left the project and went on to other things." Now, Lucasfilm boss Kathleen Kennedy has stated that the focus of Star Wars is now on persistent storytelling instead of just using film trilogies to further expand the universe. And honestly, I think we're all here for it. And finally, please check out the Hocus Pocus 2 trailer. Now, the witches are back, y'all, after a long absence on screen. Not since 1993 have we seen the three wicked sisters torment children on Hallows Eve, and it's honestly a long overdue return to film. Hocus Pocus 2 is set to trick and treat audiences September 30th on Disney+.
It's the second week of competitive League of Legends, and the 2022 LCS and LEC summer splits are popping off. In North America, CLG finally pulled their competitive game together and took down Evil Geniuses in a 42-minute game. CLG's jungler Contracts finished the game with a KD of 7-4-8 and secured CLG 5 of 6 total dragons to push his team to the win. EG and CLG are now tied for first place in the LCS with matching records of 4-1. In Europe, G2 Esports and Excel Esports also tied with another 4-1 score as the top two teams in the LEC so far. G2 faced off against Team Vitality and won the match in 32 minutes, while Vitality struggled to coordinate their playstyles with the team's new jungler, Haru. This was only the second week of the 2022 LCS and LEC summer split, with more games on the way. So be sure to stay tuned here to stay updated on competitive league scores. I'm Stella Chung, and that was your weekly fix. We'll be back here next Saturday with more of the biggest gaming and entertainment news of the week. See you then.